In this video, I am going to discuss about consume REST and SOAP web services. What is REST and SOAP web services? These are two popular architecture style for building web services. Both are used for communication between different software systems over the internet, but they have a different approaches and characteristics. What is SOAP service? SOAP stands for Simple Object Access Protocol. SOAP is a protocol for exchanging structured information in implementation of web service. It uses XML for its message format and typically relies on other protocols such as HTTP, SMTP, or TCP for message transmission. What is REST service? REST is a representational state transfer. It is a lightweight software architecture. It uses standard HTTP method like get, post, put, delete for communication. RESTful APIs often use JSON or XML as their data exchange format. Although JSON is more common nowadays, it relies on stateless communication between client and server. What is differences between SOAP and REST? Based on protocol, REST uses standard HTTP protocol for communication, while SOAP can uses various transport protocols including HTTP, SMTP, or TCP based on message format. REST typically uses JSON or XML for data exchange, while SOAP exclusively uses XML. Now move to the implementation part of our SOAP and REST services. To consume SOAP services, first we need a API. So in my project for demonstrate, I am using country service. So here is the URL for API. And when we hit in on browser, then some XML code get. So to consume these services, we need to copy all WSDL file code and it is in XML format. So copy all the code and create a service module. To create, go to new and choose Liferay module project. Now give the project name and select project template as a service and finish. I already created, so I am using this. Now create a file in src main resource. Before it, create a folder in src main resource as WSDL. You can tag it as you want the name. So I already created WSDL folder, and in WSDL folder create a file WSDL. To create, right click on it and select new and select other and search for WSDL. So here is file format and click next, and they give the file name and next, and then finish. And a file will get generated, and remove all the before generated code and paste that code that we copied from the URL. So I already pasted and save the file. To use this service, we have to define some plugins to code generate. Uh, this is the plugin, and I'm using this, and the version of plugin is 1.0.0-rc.3, and apply plugin Java and some dependency use. So we need to define dependency cfx code gen, and these are the dependencies and the configuration for code gen. So we need to define the WSDL path, so that we created and we defined, and also need to define the generated code path. So I already defined in src main Java, and mark generated equal to true. Define the property and also define the compile Java. So depends on WSDL. So it will create a tool in Gradle task. This is the tool, and right double click on it. So it will generate all the code. So it will generate code in src main Java. So these are the packages, and here is classes that are generated automatically by plugin. And to use these services, we need to export these packages. So open bnd.bnd file and export these packages, and we also need to import some packages too. So I exported JavaX, Java Web Services version, and the required packages that used in classes. And to remove the classes found in the wrong directory error, so we need to define this property. And to prevent external import from Java, so we need to define no import Java true. That's all, and save it and deploy it. So like it, we can deploy. So I will deploy it. How to use these services and or the SOAP client in other module. So we need to import our project, module project. So compile only project and define the project or module name. So module colon country stub. So I'll imported it here, and these are the required dependency in the module. And how to use these services. So need to use these services, we need to define country info service. So we need to create a method get service. So method is here. I'm using this. Here is the class. So I'm creating a method for it. And to prevent the runtime class loader error, so I'm using class loader. And to store the URL, and this is the API I'm using for consume REST services. And in try and catch block, this block of code attempt to create a new URL object from string WSDL defined earlier. So if the URL is malformed, so it throws runtime exception. To prevent this, I defined in try and catch block. And here I am creating object of the country info service. So this is the service. So I am created a object, and So it create an object for WSTL location. So I'm passing the as a parameter, and it return object and return endpoint for this shop service. And I am also using binding provider that, that set the endpoint address property of the shop binding provided to WSTL URL. This allow the shop client to know where to send request. So I already defined here and return the shop info service as an object, and by using this I can get all the services from this shop client. So I have defined here, and I'm calling this method get service and created a object for service, and I'm getting all the countries name by code, and we can get according to our need all the information about the country. And after getting the information, I'm rendering all the information to view.jsp. So here is the implementation of the view.jsp. Getting all the information from the countries info and rendering here as a form, and by using this I can select the country and get the information about the country. So after submitting this, send the country's name, and I can get the info from the country. So getting the country's name and getting the information about the all the information of the country. So in the country's full info, I am entering all the information of the country. So here is the output. So I can select any country. I selected India and get country detail. So here you can see the information about the India. So that's all from shop services, and now move to the how to use REST services. Now we'll see how to use REST services. So to use REST services, I need to create a MVC portlet. So right click on the workspace project and new Liferay module project, and give the project name and select MVC portlet as a template and finish it. After it, open portlet class, and here I define the country name to get the data of any country. So I select the India, and after it, in try catch block, I need to fetch the API's data. So I create a URL object and store the URL of the REST API, and I also passing the country name here as a parameter. After it, open connection. So to open the connection, HTTP URL connection, create a object and pass it. After, by using the HTTP URL connection object, we set the request method. So for getting information, I use method get. After it, to store the data, we need to create a buffer reader. And here, con.get input stream, I am fetching the information and store in buffer reader. After it, I am iterating and store the information, and after it, converting the information in string format to JSON from JSON and printing the information here. So to call this method, I create action URL here and see u.jsp, and here is the action URL and a button for it, and here is the definition. So see the output, this button, and fetch the information, and I can see the information about the country in the console. So I printed here. So that's all from my side. Thank you.